Hey there, if you're new to my channel, I am Jamie Glowacki and I am the author of Oh Crap Potty Training and Oh Crap I Have a Toddler. And I teach parents how to use connection and curiosity in their parenting instead of coercion and compliance. So today, on that note, I want to talk about psycho mom. So I call it psycho mom because very rarely is it psycho dad. Dads can lose their patience, but they tend not to get psycho like we do as moms. Psycho mom happens when we lose control. And I define yelling as being dysregulated ourselves. Yes, you can use a very firm voice, but still be very regulated and mean business and mean what you say. Give one opportunity and that's that. That's the boundary, no more. Call it quits, right? But what happens very often in parenting, especially with this new wave of gentle parenting, which has gotten really skewed. Gentle parenting is responsive parenting. It's not permissive parenting. It's not letting your kids have a free-for-all. What I typically see is that people really try to do gentle parenting, right? And so let's use an example. Let's say you're asking your child to put on your shoes. Put on their shoes, not your shoes. And you say, okay, it's time to go. We have to put on our shoes. Okay, I asked you to put on your shoes. Oh, I see you're playing, but I need you to put on your shoes. Okay, I have to leave now. Let's put on your shoes. So you keep trying this like real gentle technique, right? And your kids don't listen. And then what happens is there's no 0 to 60. There's no in between, right? It's this full on, please do what I asked you to. And then you leap to, oh my God, you never put on your shoes. I always ask you to do this. And you start yelling and you get dysregulated. And this is where we say really damaging things. This is when we use catastrophic language. You always, you're never. Why do you have to never listen to me? Why are you such a bad kid? These things just kind of flow out of our mouths. Very often, if your parents didn't have any parenting skills, you will literally hear your mom come out of your mouth. I've done that. It's like, where'd that come from? So what we want to do is we want to titrate your emotions, right? Titrate means to eke out. And we want, instead of 0 to 60 for you, we want all that gray area in between, gentle and nice. And I asked you 17 billion times to, now I'm a screaming shrew yelling at you saying catastrophic things, right? And so what that means is we have to employ what I call your mom voice. Now, again, I typically don't have to work with this with dads because dads naturally have a dad voice. They have a lower pitch. They usually say something once. They usually like, oh, cut it out, right? Typically, I know I'm using a huge generalization, but they don't get shrill. They don't get amped up, and they tend to not say these catastrophic things. So what that means, and I find so many of my private clients are wildly confused about this voice, and it literally is, I asked you to put on your shoes. I am going to leave the house and I need your shoes on. Do you need help? Yes, I was not dysregulated when I said that. I was very firm, and some parents even hear that as mean. I was not being mean, but I also offered help. Very often our little ones, especially under 6, they get distracted. They get immersed in their play and they don't process when you said something. So that is one tip when psycho mom hits. The other thing is you want to make sure if your child will only comply, right, when you yell, then you are scaring them. And we don't want them to comply. We want their cooperation, right? We don't want them to do something because we're scaring them or they're afraid of us. We want them to do something in a cooperative spirit. And oftentimes that means either being more specific or offering help. A very common thing that's happening these days is that parents think that like one and done is fine. You are going to have to repeat certain things over and over and over again because humans learn by repetition. So because you said once, put on your shoes, does not mean that your child necessarily heard you. They're not necessarily ignoring you or not listening, but we want to ensure that they heard you. So if you're yelling that from another room, one thing you might want to do is go into the room with them, get down on their level. Hey, bud, I have to leave soon for work and you have to go to school, okay? So we're going to put on our shoes. Why don't you go to the closet and get your brown shoes and bring them back to me, okay? I'll be in the bathroom finishing my makeup. I gave very specific instructions. I didn't say go put on your shoes, because chances are your child might go, right? Might go to their shoes and look and say, have choice paralysis, which shoes? But you said the brown shoes, yes? Or their Crocs or their sneakers or whatever. You gave a very specific direction. Bring them back to me. You didn't say put them on by yourself. You didn't leave your kid out to dry, right? And I know maybe they can put on their shoes every other day of the week with no problem, but today they're not listening. But again, maybe they're not hearing you. It takes children for 30 to 40 seconds to process what you've said and act on it. And then within that 30 to 40 seconds of processing, they could get distracted again, right? So having them bring something to you, then you can say, okay, put your shoes on. I'm finishing my makeup. Or you can say, do you need help or can you do it by yourself? Sometimes, especially at like 3, 4 years old, they really do just have days where they need help. Yes, they're perfectly capable every other day, but this day they may need help. So you were firm, you offered very specific directions, and you offered help. And that's how you rope in connection and you rope in cooperation, okay? Now, a lot of times when I'll walk this through with a private client, they'll say, oh, I don't have time. I need them to just get their shoes on. I'm doing my makeup. I'm putting together lunches. I'm finishing up the laundry. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I need them to do their fair share and just put on their shoes. However, yes, yes, that is true. However, if they're not, and you end up with a meltdown and you end up with a puddle of a kid having to attend to them and their big feelings, that's going to take 20 to 30 minutes, right? Where the way I'm suggesting takes about 3 minutes. Our kids are often quite capable of doing these things on their own, but when they need help, they need help. And that's just as fast and easy. And again, we're trying to rope them into that cooperative effort. And we're really trying to avoid psycho mom. Psycho mom can be dangerous. A lot of people come to me because they know their children are getting scared of them. They know their children are complying out of blind allegiance because they just don't want you to yell. They don't want you to get upset. So now you have a 3-year-old trying to manage an adult's emotion. That's not fair. Yeah. And that's what's damaging. And when we don't stay regulated, when we don't use that firm voice, it's like you gather steam, right? It's like those old cartoons where the steam would come out of the ears of like Bugs Bunny or something, right? And so we want to avoid that. We don't want that to happen. So the idea is catch yourself at 0 to 10 instead of 0 to 60, and then you can have a more level voice. If you are utilizing any sort of 1, 2, 3. If your child can do it on 3, they can do it on 1. So I would venture to say that you're giving too many opportunities. Make sure it happens on 1, because otherwise you're going to get psycho mom. She's going to come out and those catastrophic things are going to come out of your mouth. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down here, and also like and subscribe. I can't wait to see your next video.